Man United 0, Liverpool 3. Arne Slot in 3 games has shown more tactical progression in his side than I think I've seen from Erik ten Hag in the last 3 seasons. I know it's early, it's Brentford, it's Ipswich for Liverpool, but this is the biggest game of the season for Liverpool. Going to Old Trafford, maybe the one at Anfield as well. It's the biggest game in English football on the same day as the Old Firm. It's up there in terms of the stature, the history, the pedigree, what the game means. And we are looking at one side that is absolutely battered and bullied the other. We're going to break down all the goals and make sure you leave some comments down below what you thought of the game. Well, let's just talk through the goals chronologically speaking. The first one was an early goal from Alexander-Arnold. The ball gets whipped across from Diaz, I think it is. I think it's Salah that gets in the way of an offside. It was 8 minutes in, I think it was. I mean, it's so early in the game, the way Gravenberch glides past Kobbie Mainoo, who was so exposed today. And you just think 8 minutes in and they have a disallowed goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold is kissing the lens at Old Trafford, just like Gerrard did in 2009. It's embarrassing how quickly Liverpool were able to cut through Man United like butter. And there's no excuses for signings. There's no excuses for injuries. There aren't. Yes, I know Mason Mount's got a little niggle and so on, and Luke Shaw's not quite fit. These are small, fine margin injuries. The fundamental Erik ten Hag side is now out in full force. Rashford's there, Garnacho's there, Xerxes is new signing. And the big one is Casemiro. Now, I know, Casemiro today, it was an absolute embarrassment. And the memes of Jamie Carragher talking about, oh, you have to leave football before football leaves you. We kind of forget why he kind of said this meme in the first place. And it became a meme because he was talking about Casemiro against Crystal Palace getting absolutely demolished. It was embarrassing. And he's still playing against Liverpool. This Liverpool side, they've got so much energy. They're so good on the ball. He's nowhere near cut out to be starting these kind of games. And that is a tactical decision from Erik ten Hag. We can have big kind of macro discussions about Ineos. It's their first full transfer window, which, by the way, I think they've done quite well in. I'm not going to sit there and say, I don't think De Ligt's a good signing and so on, Xerxes and Lenny Yoro. But Erik ten Hag has made a decision to have a midfield that starts with Casemiro when he could have used tactical ingenuity to craft something that didn't involve Casemiro. Because once you play Casemiro, the whole midfield becomes porous. It loses an extra 5 yards of kind of collective pace. Kobbie Mainoo looks so open today. He had to do a little bit more work and compensate for the fact Casemiro is way out of his depth. He's lost his legs. And obviously, they made the substitution at half-time for the young kids. Come on, we'll talk about that in a minute. But within the first 8 minutes, my point is that Kobbie Mainoo gets spun. He doesn't know where he is. He's in no man's land, and there's no one protecting the back four, and Trent nearly gets an early goal. And then the actual goal comes. It was so inevitable. From the first moment, I knew Liverpool it was either Salah going to score, Diaz was going to score, Jota. 2 out of 3 did score today, and they were absolutely fantastic. The ball across from Salah, lightly defended from Dalot. There's no one at right back. Casemiro is the instigator of that, where he gives the ball away in his own kind of half of the football pitch in a really soft floated ball into the left wing position into Rashford, I think it is, and it completely cuts Mazraoui out. Obviously at the time I'm criticising Mazraoui because he's not at the back post, a bit like the Brighton goal last week where I think it was Dalot wasn't in the left back position, but the ball from Casemiro is so poor that it has cancelled out Mazraoui's run, but still they were queuing up to score. I mean, it's so poor. And I'm sorry, but if you make a tactical decision to start Casemiro in this kind of game and he gives the ball away, I do not buy the excuses that you say, oh, well, Erik ten Hag, he puts the players out. If the players make mistakes, what can you do? In certain situations, that's justified. When there are fantastic players that drop off a little bit. But when you know that Casemiro's level is gone, and this isn't harsh criticism, it's fair criticism. Casemiro is one of the best defensive midfielders I've ever seen in this generation, maybe ever. There's an argument he's top 5 DMs in the history of football. With his record, with his lineage, how good he was, how combative he was. But Erik ten Hag takes an extra 6 months for this information to kind of process. I'm an armchair fan. I'm not in Old Trafford. I make videos about football and I talk about it from a million miles away. I'm not involved in football. I've never made a professional footballing decision in my life except to buy tickets. That's as far as it's gone, or to buy a shirt. And I can see, and every football fan can see from miles away, that Casemiro is nowhere near cut out. And maybe it involves playing Eriksen. Maybe it involves playing a back five with Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo in a kind of 2 pivot with 3 floaters, and you play back 5 to protect the centre-backs. But Casemiro cannot play in a 4-3-3 against Liverpool, particularly. This is Erik Ten Hag's job, is to pay attention to what Liverpool have done in the last couple of weeks. They've been very good in the middle. Sabozai's been picking up the ball very well, and so has McAllister. That ball comes across, anyone could have scored that. My nan could have scored it. It's a great ball. And bang, Luis Diaz makes it 1-0. Then this ball gets poked across from Salah on his left foot. It's a beautiful little poke ball. And bang, Diaz makes it 2-0 with a great finish. Maybe Onana could do a little bit better, but I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt here because there's some criticisms coming up for Onana as well. And at that point, I think it really is game over. We have to be fair and balanced and say that in the second half, Xerxes had a couple of big chances. The header comes in. I think it's from Rashford, a ball in from Rashford, and this kind of floated ball comes into Xerxes. This kid's 6'4". I mean, my perception of him is he's a bit more diminutive. He's a massive unit, as big as Konate, really, as big as Van Dijk. And the header has to be better. It makes no contact, no energy behind it, no drive behind the header. I mean, your head's a big bone. You got to be. It's not like muscle or flesh or skin. It's like a big. You put your big head on it and power it into the back of the net. Put more power behind it. You know, Les Ferdinand used to be great at that. Alan Shearer. Xerxes just screams to me the chance he missed today. The half volley where he gets it and he hits it first time is really cute. He's a very smart footballer, a very cute footballer, obviously with a small C. But the ruthless nature of what Højlund was meant to be. I know he's not involved today. I'm not criticising that. Haaland, Diego Jota, Salah. These guys that are ruthless, that just put it in the back of the net. I would question necessarily Xerxes already if he can do that, because the headers and chances, they have to fall to a number 9, not a 9.5, a number 9. He has to bury at least one of them. He does. There's another one where the ball gets whipped in from Rashford. It's another great ball. You have to just say it is. It might be Bruno, but I'm pretty sure it's Rashford. And he kind of half volleys it away from the goal, and it should have been at least on target. So Man United did have chances today, and they'll rue the fact that they didn't bury them. The third goal for Liverpool was absolutely beautifully worked to get shifted across in the second half. This gets shifted across to Salah. First time finish, past Onana. It screams of players just taking chances at keepers that they know they can get the better of a little bit. I think Onana should do better. And this is the standard of Manchester United now, where I think if it's against Brentford, it's kind of like, oh, well, it's the Brentford keeper, it's Flecken, whatever. With all due respect, this is the Man United keeper, and you feel it's a little bit soft every time. It does feel a little bit soft. It really, really does. I don't know what to say. Let's just start off with Liverpool. Again, as I said at the start of the video, there's been more tactical progression in the last 3 weeks of Liverpool stewardship under Arne Slot than I've seen from Erik Ten Hag. Man United fans will defend Erik Ten Hag. They won the League Cup. Yes, they did. They won the FA Cup against Guardiola. Yes, that's true. But their standard in the league matters. Man United are more than just a cup side. The league matters. They finished 8th last season. They've lost 2 out of 3 games already at the start of the season. Their form in the mini-league and the group in the Champions League last season was shocking. Got absolutely decimated in the Champions League when they had to go home and away and you know, build up the table then try and get out that little mini group that they were in. It was embarrassing. In 3 weeks, and the point was that Man United fans will talk about Erik Ten Hag as if he's got this kind of winning mentality and the philosophy doesn't matter. We all know that if you want to get to the top of football in today's day and age, you have to be good on the ball, you have to keep possession, pin sides back. That's how Ancelotti keeps reinventing himself, keeps winning trophies, because he's got Kroos and Modric, all these guys. And you still need possession. And Man United's ability to retain possession is so poor. This is from a Dutch manager. Man United don't even have the best bold Dutch manager in the Premier League. They do not keep the ball. We do not see a philosophical approach from Manchester United in the last 3 seasons, let alone 3 weeks. Arne Slot's midfield has got weaknesses. I don't think it will compete against Man City. I don't think it will compete against the Real Madrids of the world as of yet, because of a double pivot of Gravenberch and McAllister for me is a little bit lightweight off the ball. They still need a little bit of reinforcements. I think that's a fair enough thing to say. But when they're on the ball, They're absolutely superb. They're so smart. They tuck it around first time, 1-2s through midfield, 1-2s on the edge of the box, little inverse passes. They know when the danger's there, when they can just play it back to Van Dijk, who's never going to lose the ball, when they can play it back to Trent. Trent was fantastic today. His possession-based game is so suited to this Arne Slot side. And when they're 3-0 up, they can bring on someone like Conor Bradley to shore it up as well. It's absolutely fantastic. This Liverpool side is just filled with so many leaders, players that are aggressive. When Man United did have chances, Alisson made big saves. Canase was so ruthless in the challenge. Darwin Núñez comes off the bench. There's a legitimate case that Darwin Núñez, with Chiesa coming in, not restarting the last few games, he should be frustrated, he should be angry, he should be kicking his toys out the pram. He comes on and rustles up a few feathers and nearly has a couple of chances himself. I feel like Arne Slot's done a fantastic job of this kind of anarchy, the post-Klopp anarchy, when there's this massive void that a figure as Jurgen Klopp can leave a club when he leaves someone, what he's done at Liverpool. Massive void to fill, massive shoes to fill. And Arne Slot's come in. I think he's managed to harmonise everyone. I think he's managed to get everyone on side to his way of playing. I think everyone agrees with his way of playing. That final third still is very, very reminiscent of Jurgen Klopp. If you looked down today and said that Liverpool 3-0 up against Man United, you would have thought Jurgen Klopp's still in the job. So Arne Slot has kind of had this element of continuity. He hasn't changed things too much. I think they're smarter in midfield. I think they give themselves an extra 5-10 minutes of breathing room. It's not all gegenpress, rock and roll football, up and down, up and down. It wasn't the first 20 minutes, and you have to give that to the fixture, the enormity of the fixture, and it's always going to be a tough game. Man United, when they've been incredible, have lost to poor Liverpool sides and so on, and in reverse. So Liverpool managed to mitigate the fixture itself. 30 minutes in, they just put their foot on the ball. They dominated it in a way that is very, very impressive for someone coming in and managing a club the size of Liverpool so far in his very, very early tenure. You're seeing the buds of the seeds of life, the buds of growth in Liverpool already. And the biggest damn indictment is that you're not seeing really anything from Man United. Yes, they created chances, but it's moaning from Bruno Fernandes. It's their midfield getting bypassed from someone that we all knew months ago, years ago. He's past his sell-by date. A back four, De Ligt looked okay today, Mazraoui looked okay, but a back four, it just looks a little bit flat. The keeper is still not right. And Liverpool today, very, very impressive win, in my opinion. It's a perfect start for Liverpool. It's clean sheet after clean sheet. It's a side that kind of moved the ball very well. It's a side that I think is getting rotated very well. There's a lot of happy players that are getting minutes. Big players that are getting rested as well. You look at Trent coming off in the 75th minute. He'll be frustrated as a professional, but he's being saved for bigger and better things for Liverpool in their Champions League campaign as well. The front three, though, you just have to talk about it a little bit more. Jota today, his link-up play was fantastic. I think a lot of, if you're being really harsh, you could see him scoring maybe one more or two more of those chances that he had. Salah today is just like a fine wine. He's such a smart footballer. And sometimes I actually think of Salah. We talk about, will he lose a yard of pace? He's so smart as a footballer. The balls that he can deliver, they're so underrated, his actual quality of delivery into the box. I don't always think he needs pace in his game. I think he's that smart of a footballer. But for me, it's Diaz. I mean, we talk about Diaz sometimes. Is he world-class? Would he start for Arsenal, Real Madrid, or Man City, or Bayern Munich? And every season it just gets close to the answer being yes, it has to be. His work rate is fantastic. His quality of finishing is definitely improving under Arne Slot. I think last season he wasted quite a few chances. So I think Diaz has turned into far more of a dangerous player. Even since he landed, 3 years ago in January, he was always dangerous. He was always energetic. But now, if he can add a little bit of quality, very similar argument to the Darwin Núñez thing, but Diaz is a far smarter player than Darwin Núñez, far more instinctive. If he can stay fit with Salah, it doesn't matter who's playing down the middle. Can even be Chiesa as a false nine, coming in short a little bit, or obviously Jota. You're looking at one of the best, most incredible front threes in Europe this season, no question about it. Man United, on the other hand, they're going into back-to-back losses in the Premier League, a side that are flat, a side that are devoid of philosophical ideas, long-term ideas. Yes, you lose games like this all the time, but Brighton have got a philosophy with Hurtsler. The guy's 31 years old. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I think they're so flat, they're so poor, and the United fans will say I'm hating, but that's just the way it goes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tons of content coming out throughout the week, and I'll see you very, very soon.